Good evening everybody, Flak is back. I do apologize for the rather dramatic entrance, but a dramatic entrance is required for a dramatic moment. Now I know most of my videos I say that this is the best thing or that is the best thing that... No, I was lying. This is the best thing that has ever happened in the history of Rust since the beginning ever, no matter what, since the dawn of time. You clicked on the video, you saw the title, you can find it on the Play Store, it's available on the Apple Store as well. Very easy to set up. Let me show you how it works. On the screen, I'm going to overlay my cell phone screen. You can see this is my actual cell phone screen. It is synced up 100% to the game footage that you are seeing. Both screens, cell phone and game, are completely matched up, so you can see how quick and effective and fast this application works. I've got the app installed. It's quite a small app, about 30 megabytes. So I've opened up the Rust Plus application and it's asking me to log in. Previously, I did log in with my Steam username and password. That is standard stuff. Once you're logged in, you'll see a blue notification window that warns you that this only works on certain servers at the moment. Remember, it's not live, but just above it says you can add servers using the Rust Plus menu in-game. The in-game menu, once I push escape, you can see it says Rust Plus. When clicking on Rust Plus, you'll see the server name that I'm on, which is currently misterflak. It also says not enabled for the server, which is the misterflak server. Once I click pair with server, my phone will have a notification pop up for a split second and say misterflak server, powered by Adam. Shout out to Adam for letting me use his server. It'll show the server website or the URL, and it will allow me to pair the server. Once I push pair server on my cell phone, loads a little bit, and then boom, I am officially locked onto the misterflak server. And on the first page called the hub, you'll see all the necessary server information, a bunch of information and news from Facepunch that no one gives a fuck about, as well as a notification toggle that allows you to turn your sounds on and off should you choose. The second tab is the live map overlay, and I can imagine you guys are very excited. You can see it showing my icon here. I'm running along the beach and it's tracking my movements live. No more spamming that G key to see where you are on the map. You can have your phone right up next to your computer screen. Use it as a companion app. The nice thing is it links with your Steam profile, so you can see your profile picture, and I can imagine with regards to fighting and visibility, it will be an absolute game changer. Now I know I am flying around the map in admin mode. I can imagine the developers of this app didn't expect anybody to be flying around with admin speed. However, I can imagine if you are running or on foot or on horse or something like that, all the tracking would be a lot more accurate, but flying around at the speed, you can see the app is struggling to keep up with my movement. I'm going to go over to the person that owns the server now. He's at Q16. I'm going to go see how it is to add a teammate there and see the tracking of the teammates just to see how effective it is. You can see as I'm approaching Q16, the marker that I placed in the game is now showing up on my Rust notification app. So that is fantastic for team coordination, I can imagine. Now for this section, I lowered the audio for Jonathan and Steve in-game. I do apologize to them for that, but I needed to explain to the viewer what I'm doing. So I'm adding them to my team, the in-game team, in the tab screen. Once I add them, you'll see their names pop up on the map, and then we started moving around just to see how well the movement of the people on the map actually reflect on the Rust notification app, and it is very cool. There's also a team tab where you can communicate with your team. It'll show you all the members of your team, and it allows you to start typing to your teammates whether you're on the server or off. After the recording, I disconnected from the server and I was talking to Steve via the app. All the functions of the app work online or offline, it makes no difference. Very cool of Facepunch to be adding this map and team buttons, a game changer of note. Later, bro. And finally, we get to by far the coolest feature of this app, and that is the devices tab. Now, if you're an electricity fundi like I am, you will be very excited for this. Have you ever wanted to control your base from home, from school, do certain things, turn on lights, activate a turret, fire a Tesla coil, fire a SAM site remotely? Everything is now possible thanks to the smart app. You can place smart devices inside your base, link them up with your phone, and start doing crazy things from home, from school, from work, from the other side of the planet, should you choose. You can now find out when people are inside your base remotely, you can fire off defenses, and you can fully automate your base using these features. Now, let's be honest, there is a million ways on how we can do certain things. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of defense mechanisms that I'd use, but let's talk about the new items that were added. First of all, a non-smart item, which is the large button. I love this. This is a simple industrial size button. It's not a on-off switch, it's a push and it stays activated for a couple of seconds type switch. This is the type of push button that you want to put at the front of your compound. For a huge garage door, it's industrial, it's big, you just click it on and it stays on for a couple of seconds. I love it. It's simple but a nice touch. I'm glad they added it. But let's talk about the two real MVPs here, the smart switch and the smart alarm. These bad boys, honestly, my brain is exploding with ideas right now. The idea of having a smart switch and a smart alarm that pair with your phone that are activatable remotely. Oh my god, my brain, I can't help it. But honestly, if you guys want to see me do some insane 5000 IQ trap designs and base designs, let me know. We could destroy people, make self-detonating loot rooms, go absolutely bonkers, all of that while you're taking a shit. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see some extra smart super traps being made, and I'll make some videos on that. But back to the video. And here we have the smart switch. Now, the smart switch works exactly like the regular on-off switch that we used before, except now it pairs with the application. I'm going to place down one of these little red spinny light thingies. I'm going to hook up the power exactly like normal, so from your power source to the input side of the switch, and then from the output side of the switch, I'm going to hook it up to the little red spinny light. Now I have the ability to push E on the switch and it activates on and off like normal, like a regular switch, or if I hold E, it'll give me additional options like pair with device. If I click pair, my phone will then prompt me for adding a smart switch. Now it gives me an option to change the device name so I don't get confused. I'm going to take out the smart switch default and I'm going to add red light living room, I guess. You know, just something so that I know which device is doing what. Once I add it, you can see it's on the list over there. And if I physically go to the switch itself in normal mode and I push E on it, if you look on the app, it will show that it's activated. Now I'm going to step back and I'm going to activate it via my phone, not the controls, and... oh, yes. Oh, good Lord. Can you just imagine? Honestly, can you imagine the possibilities? Electricity boulders. Can you imagine what you can do with something that simple and that awesome? Okay, so I'm going to add a second smart switch now, and I'm going to put some loot room lights. This is my loot room. Hello, Mr. Teddy Bear. I know there is issues at the moment with placing lights. I will let the devs know. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to place a ceiling light, so I'll use a little red light as an example. I'm going to power in the light same as before and give it electricity, except hooking the second one up, and I'm going to call it the loot room lights. Now I have two separate sets of lights. I've got my living room lights, or I have loot room lights. A number of different things you can do. For example, let's say I want to activate a furnace remotely. Place down a furnace, one of these little igniter thingies. I'm going to take out one of my lights and add an igniter. I'm going to pair it with my phone, but I'm going to call it Furnace Ignite. Now let's say I'm out farming. One of my friendly neighbors lets me know via the app that somebody is snooping around my base. All I have to do is open up my app, activate my remote furnace, and give them the impression that I'm at home. Very cool. Very silly, but very cool. Now let's say I want to protect my loot room. I want to protect my loot room from potential invaders, and I'm going to use the Tesla coil to defend my base. And to do that, I'm going to be using the second item of the day, the smart alarm. Now the smart alarms are actually quite brilliant. Firstly, to set up one of these traps, I'm going to hook up my Tesla coil to one of my smart switches, and I'm going to name it the Tesla loot room so that I'm not confused. Place a heartbeat sensor. The placement is buggy at the moment, but I'm going to place the sensor inside the loot room, and I'm going to send electricity from my power source to the input side of my heartbeat sensor, and from the output side of my heartbeat sensor, I'm going to power up my smart alarm to the input side. You'll see it pops into life. It now allows me to edit the message that it sends out, and it allows me to pair it to my phone. Once I click pair, I'm going to change the name of the smart alarm to loot room alarm, and immediately you'll see it's triggering. The reason why it's triggering is because that heartbeat sensor is set to activate to authorized persons on the space. I'm going to place a second heartbeat sensor in my living room area, give it some electricity, and from the output side of the heartbeat sensor, I'm going to power the second smart alarm in my base. This is going to be my living room's alarm, and in this custom alert message, I'm going to change it to someone is chilling on your couch, so that every time it activates, my phone will let me know that someone is chilling on my couch. I'm going to name it the living room, and you can see it's also getting triggered. Now if I hold E on the heartbeat sensor, it allows me to do different things. I'm going to include others, aka people that are not authorized. It immediately deactivates. I'm going to do the same for my loot room, and I'm going to hold in E and I'm going to include others. So anybody that is not building privileged in my base will activate that alarm. I won't activate that alarm because I have privilege. Now I'm going to spawn in another player, and you'll see immediately that the living room alarm has been triggered. Now, if I have a threat, it makes no difference how far I am from the base. If there is an enemy that is not authorized inside my base, the living room will trigger the alarm. I can go to my loot room and it doesn't trigger for me because I again am authorized. I'll spawn somebody in and immediately you'll see the alarm pops into life when it detects that there is now an enemy inside my loot room. Let me just kill the guy that is chilling on my couch in the living room, pick up the sword, end his existence, and the alarm goes off. The loot room alarm is still on because there is still somebody without privilege inside my loot room. If only we had a weapon inside our loot room that is remotely activatable. I'm going to activate the Tesla loot room Tesla coil, and immediately kills the enemy raider, and the loot room alarm switches off. Place a second Tesla coil in my living room, hook it up to my first smart switch that I had activated, pair it, and name this one Tesla Living. That's fine, that's enough. I know what it is, so it's good. Now I've got a loot area and a living area protected via remote alarms and remote weapons. I can take them out at any time I want to. Let's spawn in some unprivileged... I had to be a black guy. Let's spawn in some unprivileged people and you'll see immediately the living room alarm activates. And then I can activate the Tesla... Oh, that's the loot room Tesla coil. I can activate the living room Tesla coil to kill that threat. You can see there's 3 unprivileged people of mixed races. I'm going to activate the Tesla living room and it kills them. And the living room alarm immediately switches off. I go back to my loot room. I can edit this message and I can edit this message to be whatever I want to so that I can customize what particular section of my loot room they're in. They're stealing my teddy. Loot room alarm is now triggered. I'm going to put in my loot room Tesla coil. I'm going to execute the man and then the loot room alarm switches off. Very cool. Very simple. I can imagine at this stage you guys can exactly understand how this works. Very cool nonetheless. I'm so excited for the future and to be building millions of contraptions. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, Flak out. And a solid, genuine, heartfelt thank you to all the people over at my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. The names you see on screen are the dudes that support me via Patreon. I honestly appreciate you guys more than you can tell. You know, some of you guys have become my friends, have become my mates. We chat, we play on a daily basis. I love you dudes. Thank you so much again for your support. You guys fucking rock. And a special side note goes out to a couple of people that have stood out quite significantly this month to me. Matt, you one of them. 99 Clean, you running the Mr. Flak server for me. Pubby helping him with that too. Detamazi for finally getting your driver's license. Miguel for releasing an absolute banger on his second video, as well as some of the other people that have assisted me. I can't name all of you because everybody helps out so much. But to Aylin for being my partner in Apex, Adam for helping me with the server, Bokom for always supporting through thick and thin, and literally quite a number of other people that just keep on supporting and hanging out. I adore you dudes. And if anyone else wants to be a part of the Mr. Flak Patreon, follow me on Twitter, join my infamous Discord, follow me on that purple streaming service, or have a look at that jive-ass Instagram account of mine. Please be sure to click on all of my social links in the video description below. Thank you again for watching, and as always, Flak out.